As much as I'd love to hit people with that cliffhanger tonight, that would be very, very rude. So I will not do that. Let's get to the draft. You guys stayed around to the late night hours. We are going to see what we can do here. The 2025 NFL entry drafts. Let's do this and see if we can make something happen here. The New York Jets are number one. There is not a single player where I'm like, yep, we trade up to 1 to get this guy. Not a chance. I do think Hickman is awesome. Rainey could be decent. But there is enough talent later on in this draft that we can be patient. And let's be honest with what it would take to trade up to get that pick with the Jets. I'm not willing to pay the price. I am intrigued at what the price is, but I will not be willing to pay the price. I already promised you that. So, but let's take a look here at the New York Football Jets, who apparently already need a quarterback, even though they took Jack Garrison last year. Well, what would the cost be? Well, what would it be? Batonio, 3 firsts? 4 firsts? Batonio, Hollywood Brown. Yeah, okay. We're done here. We're done here. Holy shit, is trading up to the first overall pick. Insane. I love it, but it's insane. So the Jets, with that first overall pick, selects Derek Hickman, the offensive tackle. No surprise there to see him go first overall, but he wasn't worth my franchise to do it. The Chargers at 2 selects defensive end Zach Tutt, who did not make our list. And at 3, the Houston Texans select left tackle Clyde Whitfield. So the question is, do we make this selection at 4th overall? And I have to be honest, I don't think we do. Like I said, I think there's just too many questions about someone like Eric Rainey. I do think he could be awesome, but like I said, right now, he is one-dimensional. He is practically a tight end. You get him on a fade route in the end zone, it's probably a touchdown, but everything else needs work. C catching, but an A catching traffic. C deep route, so you can't even necessarily send him bombing downfield. He did have a 4.49. That's not abysmal. Is that guy worth the 4th overall pick? I don't know if he is. And then there's Anthony Graham a little bit later on for an offensive tackle. 22-year-old out of Georgia, who again had great pro day numbers. I mean, there's a couple of C's in there, but everything else looks okay. I don't think either of these guys are worth taking. I mean, at least not with this pick. I mean, and again, then there's other guys projected in the first round. Jaleel Cruz, Eric Ingles at wideout, Bryson Cook. We got plenty of options. And again, we can't get everybody. So I definitely think we trade down from the 4th pick. After this, we still have the 6th. So this is easily a trade down. Like I said, we're going to Belichick the hell out of this draft. Whew! A first, a second, 3 thirds, and a 4th from the Vikings, who just love to give us our draft picks. The Bucks are offering the 15th pick this year, a 2nd next year, and a 6th. So if we wanted to move down 11 spots, we'd get a 2nd rounder. Only picks this year are a 3rd and a 4th in that Minnesota deal. A 1st, a 2nd, so that's the 21st pick. A 2nd, a 4th, and a 5th. So obviously we could trade down 2 firsts from Jacksonville. 2 firsts from Jacksonville, 2 firsts from Atlanta. Like, we could trade down to a later point in this draft. But man, those 2 firsts. Jacksonville offering 2 firsts, a 3rd, and a 5th. Right now, I'm leaning towards Jacksonville. It's not the most amount of picks, but it is 2 first-rounders, a third and a fifth. I think we got to take that Jacksonville deal. Again, we don't necessarily have to worry about trading down to 15 like we had the 6th pick coming up. We're taking that deal with Jacksonville, especially with how kind of crazy this draft is. We're going to do it. We will take that deal from Jacksonville. You get the first. It is true that the Eagles are bowing out on this draft, which is hilarious. At the same time, obviously, they have later picks. I know I could do the Bucks trade and trade down again, but let's be honest. I mean, well, it is a 2nd and a 6th. The question is, are we going to want to make that 15th pick? And then obviously the Vikings are like all the draft picks, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. There is something, man, about that Jacksonville trade. I think because you got to figure like that'll give us 2 extra first-round picks in each of the next 2 years that we could potentially trade down again and keep the haul coming. I'm going to take that Jacksonville trade. There are a couple of deals in there you could have taken, but right now we're still thinking first-rounders in general, and it's that Jacksonville trade. So with the 4th pick, I had imagined they'd take Rainey here and get a weapon for Trevor Lawrence. They took the defensive end Philip offered. And Nollins at 5 selects wide receiver Eric Rainey. If Rainey was on the board, I would have taken him 6th. That said, again, there is a couple of players that we're interested in. There is right tackle Anthony Graham. Again, this guy had a very good pro day. He does have a couple of C's that concern me a little bit, that stopped me from instantly taking him. I want to look at the guys that are projected, like, guaranteed first round. Let's take a look at safety Jaleel Cruz, 21-year-old out of USC. Again, his speed, his bench leave a little bit to be desired. And we know his zone coverage won't be that great. For the most part, everything else is looking okay. So again, he's got a couple of warts there too. I'm going to keep looking at the guys that are projected to go soon. There's wide receiver Eric Ingalls, 22-year-old deep threat. Again, the speed leaves a bit to be desired. He has great strength, a great vert. He's not it right now either. He's not. His route running sucks. So his route running sucks. He does have great hands. I'd say mid-combine. His route running sucks. Like, he couldn't take him that early. Of course, it's going to bring us back to the top. There's Bryson Cook. Another right tackle at 21 years old. Insane combine. Absolutely insane for Bryson Cook. And his letter grades too. Again, this guy looks like the best right tackle. Our quarterback did not get the breakout. Now, Bryson Cook right now is the best right tackle in this draft. He has to be. He's showing up as first to second round talent with a first round projection. I mean, the goal would be to trade down to try and get him just a little bit later, especially around 10. You know, we trade out of 6 to get Bryson Cook at 10. We're loving life. What about Chris Culver? Another free safety. 21 years old. Combine's pretty good. No real complaints about the combine. It doesn't say that he's elite at anything. His pursuit and tackle leave a bit to be desired as kind of negatives. He certainly won't go here at 6. What about cornerback Jamie Gillislee? Again, we're going to do our due diligence here. We want to make sure we get the first round right because, again, first rounders are worth a shitload. So Gillislee, very solid. The bench is pretty inconsistent. Again, has a couple of C's. Like, he's not a bad player, certainly. Is he the guy to take right now? No. But, you know, you probably wouldn't be upset getting a guy like that in the first round. There's David Ward, another tackle. And they're saying his talent level's a little bit lower. And I believe it. I believe it. He has the strength. Mobility is a concern. He's definitely not worth it here. His mobility is a concern. His letter grades are good. His strength is good, but yeah, his mobility is a little bit shaky. DeMontre Carrington, we also had on the board, and again, right now I'm getting a short list of the short list. So Carrington at defensive tackle. The issue there is that he's 23. Combine's pretty good. The bench is a little bit inconsistent. Letter grades for the most part are okay. Again, not looking to take him super early either. Right now, the target's Cook. There's no doubt about it. Another free safety. Jesus Christ, what a draft this is for safeties. There's David Graham out of Washington State. Fantastic combine numbers. But then you get into... You got mid-man coverage and bad recognition. Those are the warts for him. Not a top 10 pick, still a first round pick, but yeah, that bad man coverage and play recognition. Now, granted, he's a safety. How much are you going to have him in man coverage? But you still don't want it to be, you know, like he's not like, again, this amazing guaranteed Hall of Famer safety. There's Calvin Flynn. Again, defensive end is a big need for us. Terrio, you beautiful, handsome, sensual, sexual man. How are you? How'd the plate up go tonight? It's good to see you. How'd the stream go? Welcome, everybody. I mean, you probably know me at this point because Terry sends the raid here all the time. That's the 73rd time.
Fanboy.
Terry's the man, and I love him.
A fanboy.
Daysap, thank you for the follow. And for those who somehow haven't figured it out, franchise mode, Madden 24. That's what we do around here. That's what we do. Alex, good to see you, by the way. I do want to know, people coming over from Terry's side of things, your thoughts on 24. I didn't get Terry's thoughts yet. All right, so Flynn. Flynn.
Fucking grass.
Flynn. Very sexual, that Terry. He is. Swats, thank you for the follow, too. No real combine concerns about Calvin Flynn.
Oh, we're doing this again.
Hey, Daysap with the gift sub as well. What a man. What a man, what a guy. Thank you very much for that. Dude, this guy's insane. This guy's insane. The only thing really wrong with him is the block shedding. I don't know if he's quite in Cook territory,
trying to walk through this,
but this guy looks amazing. And I'm gonna go. Would it be? I'm trying to think like the 7 different ways I can think to pronounce that name. Thank you for the follow. That's what I'm gonna say. Calvin Flynn looks pretty good. He does look pretty good. Commander Jim, thank you very much for the follow as well. Can't appreciate it, everybody. Welcome in. As we try my best to not hit the wrong fucking button and accidentally draft somebody that I don't want. And then you get to like Clifton Spence. So it's very clear right now that the 2 main guys, it's Calvin Flynn for the defensive line, but our top target is Bryson Cook. The question is, do we fuck around? Do we take him 6th overall to guarantee that we get him? Or do we trade this pick away and try to land him at 10? And I think if we can fuck around and land him at 10, obviously we get the benefit of trading this pick and he costs less money. Let's see what the offers are for the 6th overall pick. What do we got? What do we got? 2 firsts from Buffalo, including the 23rd overall pick this year. That is very tough to turn down. Damn. Including the 23rd pick. Now, obviously, you expect the Bills to be good every year. The Bucs are offering the 15th pick. The Vikings just love giving us draft picks. 21st pick in a second. Dude, right now it's Buffalo. Right now it's Buffalo. 2 first rounders. 2 firsts from the Giants, but neither are for this year. It's got to be that Buffalo trade. The 23rd overall pick, we get their first rounder next year and a 4th and a 5th. That's a done deal. We're going to take that deal with the Bills, and let's hope like hell that that right tackle Cook is still there at 10th overall. He'll be our top target. So the Bills at 6 take right tackle Anthony Graham. Whew. Again, Graham was on the short list, but wasn't as good as Cook. Holy shit, that would have sucked. The Lions at 7 take quarterback Hugh Richards, who again, we weren't in the market for a quarterback for that MJF-looking son of a bitch. At 8, the Indianapolis Colts select linebacker Tyrell Rotten. Who is that bad? It's just Seattle standing in our way from an immense bit of business. The Seahawks take defensive end Caleb McKinney. Let's go. We fleeced it. We fleeced it. We traded away 4 and 6, ended up with 4 first-round picks, and are still going to get a future Hall of Fame tackle from the looks of it in the form of Bryson Cook. Let's fucking go. That is huge. And again, this guy looks insane. 21 years old out of Michigan. He looks insane. Seems when he's normal dev. He might be, but man, if this guy's normal dev, then fuck it. I mean, come on. He looks insane. And even the skills, like again, he has 2 C's and like, come on. Bryson Cook. Come on now. Come on now. Let's go. Let's fucking go. There is the O-line help that we needed. 89 strength, 84 acceleration, 70 agility at 6'5", 305. And that is why we take a goddamn hour to look through the prospects in the draft, because we know that we're going to hit. And we fucking hit with Bryson Cook. Whew. A little bit worried about the injury rating, but that's a player you take the risk on. Welcome in, Bryson. It's good to have you here. Now, our next pick is 23rd. I have about 8 players on the board. Shout out to Don Anderson for the follow. I have 8 players left on the board that I like. The one wide out, left tackle, that defensive end in Flynn is the primary target. Ideally, we would wait until 23 to land him. The reason why I say that is we know this is a pretty deep draft in terms of 3rd, 4th round type of players. Trading up is very expensive, and again, the higher you trade up, the more guaranteed money a player gets. So I think we do have to let it ride to try and land Flynn with that 23rd pick. And if not, we can either take somebody else on that short list, or we can start looking beyond. And again, I mean, you think about how far down the board Flynn is. 11 picks. It's a little bit risky, but we're gonna let it ride. I don't think he'll be there either, but I do think it's worth letting it ride and seeing how it goes from there. So again, you can't get every great player you see in the draft. That's just not how it works. The Giants at 11 select Calvin Flynn. There you go. It was never in the cards, everybody. It was one or the other. It was Cook or it was Flynn. I think we went with the right one, but it was never in the cards. The Giants knew about him too. We were never trading up to the 11th pick. It was never going to happen. It would have been way too expensive. Way too expensive. So again, I like that the AI is smart. But yeah, it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot. So the Steelers at 12 take Jamie Gillisley. That one corner that we did have on our short list is worth it. The Texans at 13 take the safety, Jaleel Cruz. So he's off the board. Dolphins at 14. DeMondre Carrington. That was the defensive tackle we were looking at. Again, he was a little bit older. The Bucks at 15. Eric Engels, all the players we had on the board. And again, that's why we looked. At 16, Washington takes Sean Harrison. Didn't have him on our board. Ravens at 17. Chris Culver. We have 2 players left on our board. The Raiders at 18. Clifton Spence, who was not on our list. The Bears at 19. Aaron Campbell, who was also not on our list. Okay. Cowboys at 20. Take tight end Stephen Freeman. That doesn't surprise me. At 21, the Titans take Henry Bell, which means one of the 2 guys I had on our early list is still going to be available, if not both of them. As Carolina at 22 takes Caleb Branch, the linebacker stopper. Thank you for the follow. So we have 2 players left on our board for early projections in terms of drafting that are still there. We have the left tackle, David Ward, and the free safety, David Graham. That said, we do have to look at the first to second round projections to know what we want to do. And to see how they compare, to see if there is someone where we're like, nope, that's a slam dunk player, we got to take him now. Because after this, we have the 4th, 6th, and 10th picks of the second round. So we'll be able to do some damage in the early stages of the second round. So let us take a look at strong safety. Russell Gore, who did make our initial shortlist. What's up, Fox, by the way? 21 years old out of Miami. Combine-wise, I mean, the bench is a little bit of a concern. Everything else looks great. He does look good. I mean, again, like the tackle, the pursuit. He has question marks. He's not a slam dunk. Nobody on our list right now is a slam dunk. Right now, Ward is the favorite to go with this pick if we were to make it. After this, we have another free safety in Tyler Knight, who made it out of the first stage. The acceleration is a little bit of a concern. It's not an elite level. Outside of that, there's really not that much. Like, the recognition is a little bit concerning, and then he's got some ranges that are also like, okay, that's a little bit concerning. Maybe want to get him in round 2. Oop. I had a feeling it would bring us back there. Forrest Harris, the defensive end out of LSU. Mobility is a big concern. He does have good strength. But he does have great grades. So, I mean, again, mobility is a bit of a concern. But he does have good grades. You could argue, again, is he worth it at 23, or do you try to land him in the second? I don't know why it keeps bringing me back to the top. Stephen Allen. Another left tackle. Again, has mobility concerns, but does have good strength. The awareness, the finesse. I don't know how Stephen Allen made the list, because I got to be honest, I'm taking him off of our short list. That is not a player that we're going to want. Kirk Hausler, defensive tackle. Kirk Hausler. Every team needs a good Kirk. Combine's good. Honestly, the only thing concerning is the power moves. And the some ranges too with like the block shedding. Yeah. Brings me back to the top every fucking time. What about Blaine Elliott's? A left guard. What doesn't stand out for you, sir? Combine's great. Combine's fantastic. Doesn't have much finesse to his game. Again, the ranges kind of drag him down. Ward's ahead. Ward's ahead of Elliott. Elliott doesn't look bad, but he's not. Again, slam dunk pick. From there, Kyrie Torrance as a corner. What do we have for you, sir? Do we have any negatives about you? Combine's good. Yeah, it's the man coverage, and it's the play recognition. He's got some ranges too. He's got a lot of questions. Did Derek Ridley go? I don't believe so. Back down. Derek Ridley. There he is. Derek Ridley. Great combine. No concerns there. There are a couple of ranges that are a little bit scary. He's a boomer bust pick. I wouldn't take him in the first round. Yeah, he's got some scary ranges to him. Almost done with the first to second round options. There's a lot of safeties in this draft, man. We have Kamani Brown. 22 years old out of Notre Dame. Again, combine's great. I know, K-Town, I know. Same thing for this guy. There's some good aspects to him, but the ranges are concerning. Where you just can't guarantee he'll be an elite option. We have a center, Chris Patton. Another offensive lineman in the mix. No concerns about combine or pro day numbers. Same thing. It's just ranges. So that's where we are with most of these guys. It's best guess, hoping for the best. Like Patton definitely has some aspects about him that are fantastic, though. Corbin Williams, that is a name that I had a feeling we'd be talking about right around this time. 21 years old. This was the guy that had the D in finesse moves, but every other grade looked awesome. Like, he's in that category of someone I'd really like to land in this draft. It's just first round or second, and I think we could trade down because, again, we have those the four second rounders, excuse me. We could do some immense damage in the second round without having to make another first round pick. And our last guy to look at is left tackle Trevor Hardwick. 22 years old. No combine concerns at all. And again, for him, mostly it's the ranges that are concerning. So, if there was anybody that I'd consider taking at this stage of the draft with this 23rd pick, it is David Ward. 21 years old, out of Virginia. But again, he's pretty one-dimensional in that he has the elite strength. His mobility is apparently shaky. But his grades are all pretty solid. There's a couple of C's. I can't take him this early. I can't do it. So we're going to trade down from this pick. And we're going to do a lot of damage in the second round. Again, we've already picked up plenty of first-rounders moving forward. This is definitely another trade down, for sure. And we'll see if we can land another future first-rounder, maybe two, for this pick. The Bears are offering their 2027 first. The Vikings are offering a shitload Rams are offering a first and a second. I mean, the Rams offering a first and a second is very enticing. I know the Vikings are offering a lot, but a first and a second is where the price starts. And right now, it's still the Rams. First, second, and a seventh. First and a third, first and a third, first and a third, first and a third, first and a third. Goon, what's going on? I'm anticipating that game quite a bit. I think we're going to take that Rams deal because they might be worse by the time 2027 rolls around. That is true that the Vikings offering a third this year is valuable. At the same time, I think we'd have the value to trade up if we had to. You know? I think we do. Plus, we might trade down from a second round pick. So I want that Rams first rounder. I do. Like I said, I mean, they are due to kind of decline here soon. So the Rams are on the clock at 23. We won't pick until the early stages of the second round, but we do have a lot of players on the board that we like. So the Rams take Bradley Robinson, who we didn't have on our list. Broncos at 24. Russell Gore. So he's off the list. We had more questions about him than we did about Ridley in the same position. The Rams are on the clock again, though, so we might be helping the rebuild. At 25, they take running back Arthur Lucas. So they took a first-round running back. Fair enough. Chiefs at 26. Take left tackle David Ward, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We played the future game, knowing we'll get a lot in the second round. The Jags at 27 take Blaine Elliott. It's another player off of our board. As long as Williams is still there, I'm happy. The Packers at 28 take corner Kyrie Torrance. That's another name off of our list. So there goes Kyrie Torrance. Eagles at 29 took David Graham. It's another safety off of our lists. The Patriots at 30. Running back Johnny Claiborne. Good with that. At 31. Falcons take a defensive tackle Hausler. So he's off the board. Let's see. Bengals at 32. The Super Bowl champions take left tackle Mike Rutherford. Fine by me. Jets with the first pick of the second round. Take Tyler Knight. That's another safety off the board, but Harris and Williams are both still there. The Chargers take Joey Thomas. We're guaranteed to get one of those defensive ends. As the Browns take center Chris Patton. Williams is there. Fucking go. Oh, this is going to be, at least on paper, we're doing everything right. Whether or not we're proven right is the question. But Forrest Harris is still there, and so is Williams, the left end. We get to choose between these two. So Forrest Harris, again, for his negatives, we had his mobility and his finesse moves, and indeed at the combine, it was a little bit rough. For Williams, the only negative for Corbin we had was his finesse moves. But at 21 years old out of Auburn, his combine looked great. Has elite strength. And again, it's Corbin Williams. There's no denying it. It is Corbin Williams, 110%. Come on, Corbin. Have a good dev pattern, baby. Come on. I can go. We're crushing this. 90 strength. 83 speed with 82 acceleration and 77 agility at 21 years old. Whew. Oh, we are murdering the start of this draft. Those first two picks are home runs, man. Let's go. Welcome in, Corbin Williams, and your big fucking head. Let's fucking go. That is huge. Whew, not sure what to think of the Arizona jerseys. They're terrible. They're terrible. Defensive end wearing number 6'7". No more number restrictions in the NFL. All right. So, now's the time Our next pick is immediately after this. Again, we have 3 picks early in the second round. We know we're not going to trade up, so let's go ahead and let the Eagles make this pick. And they selected Forrest Harris, so there we go. We weren't going to get both. So there are 3 players left from that first to second round range that are still on the board. All 3 of them are shots in the dark, though. They have ranges. Like, they could be good, they could be rough. I do want to take a look at who is available that's projected, in the second round, that we might want to make that pick now to secure them. So we start off with safety Dion Sherman. Now, 2 players left that were on our short list already are safeties. And with Sherman, Combine Beast has some ranges in terms of concern. Play recognition, also a concern. He, could be good, could be not. Could be not? It's late. Could not be. We don't know yet. I'm actually just going to go position by position because it's easier. So let's take a look. Running back wise, yeah, we had nobody on our list. We had the one fullback, but he's later on. Wideouts, nobody there. This was going to be a big round for tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. We have 2, and it's easy to forget about this guy, Victor Hayward, who looked amazing, but it's not a huge position of need right now. Again, his bench was a little bit concerning, but in terms of his grades, I mean, again, he could be awesome. It comes down to ranges for him again. But that's someone we could look at in this round. There is also Daniel Meadows, another 21-year-old. Again, the bench, maybe a little bit concerning, a little bit low. Everything else looks awesome. And then the same thing for him. There are some ranges that are a little bit concerning. If they're on the lower end, he won't be that good. But 2 intriguing tight end prospects that could go at this stage of the draft. Left tackle, again, we ruled out Steven Allen because he wasn't that good. We ruled out... No, Hardwick is still on our board. Nobody else there. And second to third round, nobody else there. We can worry about Haskins later. We have Ken Groves and Matthew Hall. So let me mark down these 2 and see what we are dealing with. Kevin Groves out of Clemson. Awesome combine. Absolutely awesome. Only thing for him is the ranges. That's it. And then there's Matthew Hall. Again, no concerns at all for combine-related numbers. Again, only thing for him, it's just where will some of the ranges end up. So that's where we are with most of our players right now, is you don't have the slam dunk, but it's like, well, this guy could be good. Take the risk. But right now we're trying to eliminate as much of the risk as we can and make sure that we get the top-notch guys, the best of the bunch. And we can still take risks later on. Nobody here still, right? I didn't miss anybody? No, it just isn't anybody. Linebackers we know is a big, big position for us. And there's 2 at this stage of the drafts. We have Malone and we have Saucedo. Daniel Malone, from my recollection, looked amazing. 22 years old out of Oklahoma. You know, the bench is a little bit low, but not really. And then you look at the grades, it was the zone and the man coverage. There are some ranges that could be a little bit concerning. But I mean, that man and zone coverage is insane. So he definitely takes kind of precedent of like, all right, yeah, look for that guy. He could be an incredible steal. What about Saucedo? What about Saucedo? He was very similar, was my recollection. Except his speed was a little bit more concerning. Yeah, I mean, he's the the best guest option. He's not quite as strong. I mean, there's no doubt that Malone looks amazing. It's just when would we have to take him to guarantee that we get him? Again, second to third round. Ed Weber on the other side was somebody else that we really like the looks of. But he is 23, which is going to be a negative. Less development time. No concerns about the combine at all. At all. I mean, honestly, he looks... again, there are some ranges. But yeah, Weber and Malone are very, very exciting. If they're hits, they're big hits. Corners. Nobody in the second to third. At safety, nobody to worry about except Kamani Brown. That's a holdover from before. We'll have Ridley there as well. And again, at safety, we have Sherman, but we also need to take a look at Lamb. Shout out to Rawls for the follow. Appreciate it. And 21 years old. Combine's great. This guy's fast as fuck. Similar for him. Like, it's the recognition and it's the ranges. And shout out to Gingy as well for the follow. Thank you, everybody. Welcome in. If you haven't dropped, I never say this. If you haven't dropped a follow, what's the matter with you? I don't care if you've been watching for 3 minutes. You drop that follow, goddammit, because we're going to be here every night for the next month. Playing Madden franchise, because it's what we do. Okay, so we have Malone and Weber that we really, really like. But we have holdovers from first to second round projections. We have Trevor Hardwick, who, again, only concern for him are some of the ranges. There's the free safety in Kamani Brown. Same thing. Could be great, could be not. And then Derek Ridley as well. Was in that same boat. All three of those guys, the only concern is we don't have as much information as we want. We have the 6th pick, we have the 10th pick. And the 29th. We're not going to be able to get everybody. So my thought is, you know, what if we get a safety here? And then one of the linebackers at 10? And then hope to God somebody falls to 29. We do need a safety. We do need linebackers. I feel like we have to factor in team need a little bit more at this point. I feel like we have to factor in team need a little bit here. Again, we have 2 safeties projected to go a little bit earlier that are still on the board. And then we could take Malone at 10. And then maybe by some miracle, Weber still falls down to 29 and we'd be fucking laughing. Monty Brown was 22, 6'2". Whoops. And then there was Derek Ridley, also 6'2", at 22. Were they both from Notre Dame? And the only issue that either of them had were their ranges. I like that guy has B and hit power as a safety. Malone should fall 4 picks from now. He should. You could argue it's not necessarily worth the risk, but how's this guy's hit power? Do we know? B and hit power, it's the same. D and stamina. Like I said, I do think we need a bit of a well-rounded approach. If we take somebody here, it's going to be Ridley, or we go for both linebackers. The issue is we already have a couple of good young linebackers. At the same time, it's never too much of a problem. The problem with Weber as well is he's 23 years old. That's the issue. I'm going to go with my gut on this one. I'm going to try to spread the wealth a little bit and go for team need. We're going to take Derek Ridley with the 6th pick. We're going to take Ridley here and hope that Malone falls to the 10th pick. And if I'm wrong, then hey, so be it. But we are going to go for the safety, Derek Ridley, who is normal dev. However, he's 22. Look at those athletic ratings. This guy absolutely has a chance to still get a breakout, though. Now, if we don't end up with Malone because we picked Ridley, then that sucks. But we'll see what happens. I do like Ridley for potential, but obviously he is our first guy to not have a hidden dev. Puts the pressure on for these next few picks. The Lions at 7. Take Dominique Gray, a left tackle. The Colts at 8. Take right tackle Russell. And the Seahawks at 9. Take right tackle Alfonso McCrary. So, it was worth the risk for the safety. It didn't quite work out. We're definitely taking Malone here. That's not even a question. We are 100% taking Malone here. Daniel Malone. Are you going to be the home run? It looks like you could be. Even if he's normal dev, he, again, has great potential to break out. Whew. Back-to-back normal devs. Maybe this draft is cursed. We are definitely not trading up. I promise you that. If both those two guys end up with normal devs, we're not trading up. Again, they're both 22. They both have great athletic ratings and should have higher overalls, but we are not trading up again in this draft. Like I said, I think both players could still be great for us, but there's no shot we're trading up. And again, we know he's probably going to have a good overall. That zone and man coverage is awesome. So I don't think we struck out, but we also might not have hit a home run, you know?